Romeo and Juliet has a sad ending, but Koit and Laura have rewritten the story with Verona. Let's talk about it. You guys, tonight in Estonia, the duo of Koit Toome and Laura won with their song Verona. They are the king and queen of Eesti Laul and will now sing at Eurovision. Angus, what do you think of their song?
So, going into the final, I was kind of excited. It's one of the three songs that we've always kind of spoken about as a potential winner, but I was also worried because we heard from our contacts on the ground, our friends at Delphi in Estonia, that Laura had real vocal problems, so she didn't actually sing in the dress rehearsal this afternoon. They had a backing vocalist sing for her, and when I saw the first run-through, I was like, dead on arrival, flatline, because she did not sound good. I mean, Koit sounded amazing and always has done, but I was like... But then they had that cool hologram face effect, and I was like, they've actually turned it up, made the stage look much better. But I'd really written it off going into the superfinal. I was kind of surprised it made it through. And I'm actually really happy and really excited for it because I did think it was one of the strongest candidates. We talk a lot. I think people are kind of worried about ballads, and I think this is more upbeat. Like, it's super dramatic. There's cool angles, and ultimately, I think Estonia are in it to win it this year. Like, I think this could be Talent 2018.
Mm-hmm. I'm not that sure. I actually, when they performed, I really count them off. Like, I thought they wouldn't even qualify to the super final because of that. I didn't know Laura was having issues. But well, then, I mean, I'm happy with the song because it was one of my favorites in Estonia, but I really think they need to improve a lot of their chemistry. And because, I mean, the staging looks really cool with all the camera shots, the holograms, everything looks really cool. But when they are singing together, like in the last part, it's a bit like they lack chemistry. They are like far away. I don't know if they're trying to show like they are cold to each other right now or whatever, but it doesn't really work. But well, they have 2 months to improve it, and they are experienced performers, so they'll work it out, I'm sure.
So when I heard the studio version for the first time, we actually filmed it and put it on our YouTube channel. I basically had an orgasm. I was like, yes, Romeo, yes, Juliet. And I'm still feeling that passion. This was my number 2 going into the final because I loved Kerli. Towards the end, Kerli just kind of pushed up for me. But I think this is a very deserving, very respectable winner. I love the staging. It's very innovative in a way. Even though it's simple, the way they pan back and forth, it almost is something you'd see at Melody Festival, and because they create something very intimate with on the bigger stage. I love that Laura is serving Miss Universe realness, kind of walking out with that gorgeous train. Koit, when they zoom in on his face, he's very sexy, but sometimes I worry he has to use the toilet. It's kind of this, oh, I just had an enchilada. So I don't know what to do about that. Because I think he is being real, but I guess they just need to loosen up a little because the song is so good and I think the staging is so good that if they can get that chemistry, they could really slay. I mean, look at Shanae and Nevergreen in 2010. They didn't have chemistry, but they still came fourth. So it is possible. A duet often gets a lot of bonus points from people if it's done well, and this song is fantastic. Someone on Twitter, I had put up a photo of Laura and Koit saying, yes, they are real. And they were like, oh, but they have the charisma of wax figures. And I could kind of see why they said that, because the first run-through, as you guys have said, the first run-through just something wasn't right. And clearly it's because she's ill. But then when they did the recap after winning, I was like, okay, she can loosen up, she can relax, and they can have more fun. And it just felt much, much better. I'm waffling. Long story short, I love this song. Some people say it's dated, but I think it's more vintage. It's timeless in a way, because I do feel like I heard this in the 90s, but I liked it when I heard it, and I still like it now. So for whatever style this is, it's working for me. Angus, I think you've already answered this, but is this an automatic qualifier?
I think absolutely. For me, because I think as well as like the chemistry, that's something they can work on before the actual show. Like, I think it's good. the chorus is really easy to remember, which is like key for the snippet. And I think they already have like a really strong performance to pick from. We often talk about the fact that Sweden basically transplants its national final performance to Eurovision. And Estonia this year can actually pretty much do the same thing. It's pretty much like the finished, polished product you'd expect. And they're both great singers. I mean, in duets, I think often the guy is kind of a bit rubbish versus the woman. Like, normally there's a big, strong diva. You don't have that. Whereas I actually think Koit has beautiful, especially the falsetto. He really controls that nicely. So, yeah, I think this will be in the grand final with ease.
Yeah, I think it's a qualifier. I don't think it's going to be like a top 3 qualifier, but definitely it's going to the final.
I think this is so strong. I just have a few tweaks. One is when, I think it's in the middle of the song or towards the end, they're showing his face and her back and her face and his back. And when they show her back, you can see the audio jack for the microphone, and it kind of kills the romance of everything. So delete that. And also, they are wearing a lot of hairspray, y'all. I think they need to try some kind of natural kind of way to keep their choreography on point, because it's just, I'm worried they're going to let a match and there's going to be a fire. I mean, tone it back. In terms of Kerli, I loved how wild and crazy her performance was, and that's why I thought it would have done well at Eurovision. I think on the big stage it would have looked amazing, but in Estonia, I think the staging looked a little cheap. I love her song and her performance, but creating an Arctic shamanic environment requires a lot of staging, and I think that for whatever reason it didn't translate so well in the Estonian space.
See, actually, it's interesting you say that, because I really was gunning for Kerli, and I have been like not that big a fan of Spirit Animal. I found the studio was very monotonous, very one note, and also I thought it was the kind of song that juries at Eurovision hate and typically don't go for, because it's quite kind of dance pop, it's very repetitive, and not the stuff. But actually, and at the semi-final as well, I thought her vocal was really weak, didn't like it. Tonight, I thought she was pretty spectacular. And yeah, I fully was prepared for that to win, and was kind of surprised that Verona kind of went for the upset there, because I think she has that great shot where she went from like the chorus into the second verse and she kind of jumps down, and the whole camera, like, it's intensity, it's fierce, it's violent, and ultimately it's different. Where Verona maybe typical Eurovision duets, Spirit Animal had this different flavor and animosity to it. So yeah,
I think Spirit Animal will have stand out more in the Eurovision stage because it's more different. I mean, I was a fan of Kerli. I really wanted her to win, but I'm kind of relieved now that she hasn't won, because I thought Spirit Animal wasn't her best song, and I think she can come back another year with something better. We know she can slay a performance, and she has done the 2 of them. Even though 2 weeks ago when she was Seal, she did so well, and tonight it was really good. I really thought she was going to win, like, unquestionably. And she did that with the juries, but not with Televote.
And that really surprised me. I thought it would have been the other way around.
Yeah.
In any case,
Totally.
she slays. And I didn't know her before this, and now I do, so I'm going to go download all of her music. She has won at least one new fan, and I am sure tens of thousands more. The other act in the superfinal was Rändvee? Rasmus, there we go. Very attractive. He took over ERR's Instagram one day, and I was feeling it. He has a banging body and a nice voice. This song isn't my cup of tea, but I think he sells it very well. So I thought Alina Born was going to the final, and then she finishes last. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm blind and deaf.
Like,
I thought she was amazing. I would have given her the spot. I love that she's daring enough to sit in a female condom throughout that performance. What do you guys make of this? Alina versus Rändvee.
I mean, Rasmus, I have to be honest, like, I really hated the song and the performance. That whole earthquake camera shake angle thing I found very... Like, I come away, like, seasick from that performance, which annoys me, because he's beautiful, he has a nice voice, but the song doesn't really do much for me in shaking. But somehow, I don't know, my waters told me, like, I got this rising feeling that he was going to go through because his vocal is really good. And also, it's a big old estrogen fest at Eesti Laul. There were a lot of women on stage with a lot of good pop songs. With Alina, I don't know what happened, because she was my personal favorite. I loved In or Out, which I know, William, you were very, like, it's kind of dating out. I loved it. Pure sex. She has this whole Bond girl, like, license to kill thing. She's riding the giant O. It's big drama. She has that big catwalk strut. And also, she had that whole kind of leotard look and made it look beautiful and feminine. And, like, I mean, she had me questioning my sexuality. Måns Zelmerlöw like restored faith and put me back in the right place. But Alina, I think this happens quite a lot at Eurovision. There can be these incredible songs that just do not connect domestically. And I think maybe it's the fact she won too recently for Alina to go. And with Rasmus, yeah, I think a lot of it is down to he was a man with a pop song. And he has a sexy magnetism. Like, I hated the song and the staging, but he himself, you know, I can make allowances.
I don't know. I kind of liked Rasmus before, and I did like his performance. I didn't like those earthquake moves because I was just like, stop it. One is nice, 25 is not. And I think he was too much overacting. Like, he was, at the end of the performance, he was just shouting randomly, and I was like, please shut up, control yourself. You are doing good, but not that good. And I wasn't surprised that he went through to the superfinal, actually. When they all finished, I thought he was one of the three best performers. And the other one, I thought it was Alina. And I still cannot figure what happened to finish last with both the jury and the televote. I mean, when she came out, she came to the sixth, and I thought she was the best of all them up to her. And then there were three songs after her that were worse. And she comes last. I just can't understand anything. I mean, Estonia explaining to me what happened.
And on the flip side, I think in some ways, Laura, you know, she's been at Eesti Laul so many times. There was a sentimentality to her. People wanted her to finally go through, and I think it may have helped her. But rightfully so. It's a worthy performance. You know, for me, Verona and Spirit Animal, I'm happy either way.
Yeah, a bit like Claudia Faniello in Malta. They voted for her finally.
Yes, although I'm not sure that will do as well as Verona. In any case, that's what we think. What do you think? Do you think the best song won at Eesti Laul? Do you think the best act won? Who would you have sent? You can let us know here on wiwibloggs.
Be sure to subscribe below.
And also leave your opinion in the comments and give us a like if you liked it.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.